Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Easy English Bible Study podcast. My name is David Gray, and together we're going to read the Bible, and I will make some comments as well in easy to understand English. Okay, let's get started. Welcome again to the podcast. I hope you're doing well. Today is a bonus episode. Right now, we're looking at the events just before Jesus' death on the cross, the events leading up to Jesus' death on the cross. So we're going to be doing that today. And before we start, I wanted to mention that if you want to contact me, you can contact me by email. The email address is easyenglishbiblestudy@gmail.com. easyenglishbiblestudy@gmail.com. Okay, so like I said, today we're looking at events just before Jesus dying on the cross. And today we're looking at the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, verses 1 to 16, and then verses 31 to 35. Let's get started then. Chapter 26 of Matthew, verse 1. When Jesus had finished saying all these things, he said to his disciples, "As you know, the Passover is 2 days away, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be crucified." So Jesus is telling them that he will be crucified. I wonder if they understand yet what is happening. The Passover is coming. This is a major Jewish festival, and Jesus is saying that he will be crucified. He will die on the cross. He's predicting it. It seems like when Jesus tells his disciples that he will die on the cross, they don't seem to really understand. Verse 3, then the chief priests and the elders of the people assembled in the palace of the high priest, whose name was Caiaphas, and they schemed to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him. But not during the festival, they said, or there may be a riot among the people. Okay, they want to arrest Jesus. They want to capture Jesus. And they want to do it secretly. Okay, they want to do it secretly, and they want him killed. They're worried, though, that because of the Passover, because of the festival, they're worried that if people find out publicly, there might be a riot. There might be many people getting angry or violent and fighting against them. So they want to find a way to do it secretly because Jesus is popular. Verse 6, while Jesus was in Bethany, in the home of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. "Why this waste?" they asked. "This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor." So this seems to make sense, right? This woman is using very expensive perfume. Jesus and his disciples are living a very humble life. They don't use much money. They don't have much money. They don't want to waste money. And it makes sense. Hey, why don't we use this money for the poor? Instead of using it, wasting it, pouring this perfume on Jesus. However, verse 10, aware of this, Jesus said to them, why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. Okay, so Jesus is saying that she's doing a very beautiful thing for him. Jesus will not be there forever. Jesus is actually going to die soon. And Jesus says more. Let's read verse 12. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Truly I tell you, wherever this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. So Jesus is saying this story will be famous. And it is famous, it is well known because, well, here it is in the Bible and we're reading it today. Now, in verse 12, he says, when she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Perfumes were used on a body that's going to be buried for burial, a dead body. Jesus knows that his body, he will soon die. So this perfume is like the perfume that might be used for a dead body. Again, he's predicting his death. He's saying it several times in this reading, isn't he? Okay, let's continue with verse 14. Then one of the 12, the one called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, what are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you? So they counted out for him 30 pieces of silver. From then on, Judas watched for an opportunity to hand him over. All right, well, this is a very shocking event. Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 disciples, has decided to betray Jesus. Jesus trusted his disciples, and now Judas is breaking that trust and going against Jesus and betraying Jesus and making it he's going to help the religious leaders to arrest Jesus, like the way the police arrest someone, right? He's going against Jesus. And that is what Judas is famous for, right? For betraying Jesus. Okay, let's skip over verses 17 to 30 and let's continue with verse 31. Then Jesus told them, this very night you will all fall away on account of me. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. Jesus is predicting using the Old Testament. This reading is from Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7. In verse 31 here, that he's quoting the Old Testament. I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. So the shepherd is Jesus when when they arrest him, the flock, the disciples, will be scattered. They will run away. He's saying that they're going to run away. And then he says, verse 32, but after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee. After he rises from the dead, the resurrection, he will go to Galilee ahead of them, before them. Verse 33, Peter replied, even if all fall away on account of you, I never will. Okay, so Peter is saying he will not run away. He will not fall away if something bad happens. He will be faithful. He will stay close to Jesus, even if the other disciples do. And this makes sense because Peter is the leader, right? And he's saying, I will stay with you, Jesus. I promise. And then Jesus says sad words, verse 34. Truly, I tell you, Jesus answered, this very night, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. So Jesus is saying, tonight, this very night, tonight. Now, in my language, but in my language, a rooster crows like this. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Okay, that's what we say. Cock-a-doodle-doo. And that sound, the crowing of the rooster, Jesus is saying that Peter will disown Jesus 3 times. He will say, I don't know you. I don't know Jesus. I never knew him. He will disown him. So he will say that he doesn't know him 3 times before a rooster crows. Verse 35, but Peter declared, even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you. And all the other disciples said the same. So that's the end of the reading for today. Things are getting bad, aren't they? We have Judas betraying Jesus and willing to hand him over, finding a way to help the chief priests arrest Jesus. And he wants to do it for money. And then we have Jesus predicting that Peter will deny him, disown him. So and not only that the other disciples will also be scattered. How very lonely and sad it must be for Jesus to know the negative, the terrible things that are coming, and to know that his disciples will not be there with him. Okay, well, that's a sad reading, but that is the reading for today. And thank you for listening to the end. And please remember that if you would like to email me, again, the email address is easyenglishbiblestudy@gmail.com. Okay? So thank you very much for listening to today's bonus podcast. And I'm recording a few more bonus podcasts about the time before Easter. I hope that they are helpful for you, as there's a lot going on around the time of Easter. And the Bible spends a lot of time talking about these events. Okay, thank you for listening. Take care, and God bless you.